Secular or Christian? These are two labels that homeschoolers, I would say in my experience, tend to have the biggest divide about. Today, let's chat. I recently had someone, a subscriber to my email list, write me and ask whether I'm secular or Christian, because she didn't see any Bible curriculum on my website or on reviews or me talking about it. And I thought it was a great question, and one that I have frankly tried to avoid. But today I'm not going to avoid it anymore. Before I get started, I want to say two things. One, this is what works for us. I am not making any judgments about how other people approach their faith or not. Whether secular, I don't care. I don't mean that I don't care in a personal way. I care about that. But I don't. How people do it it's so completely independent. And it's that being their own personal decision is frankly why I haven't talked about it here before. Second thing is, if you don't have anything kind to say, just go on. Thanks for visiting, and no hard feelings about you not liking what I have to say. Okay? I tend to avoid things that might be controversial here because I don't want to deal with it, frankly. I just don't. But today, when I read that question, it just really weighed on me how to best address it. So I did email her back about it, but today I want to address it more publicly. If you regularly watch me, then you probably know that yes, we're a Christian family. I don't talk about it a lot because for me it's I've had a lot of baggage with the way people have viewed my faith, so I just didn't want to do that here. I didn't want to face that. And the other part of that is, I know that a lot of secular families don't feel like they have a place in the homeschooling communities because of the way they've been treated, directly, indirectly, whatever, by Christian homeschool families. And so I wanted my channel to be a place that secular families didn't feel that. Because while we are a Christian family, my faith doesn't look like that of a lot of families that label themselves as Christian homeschoolers. And I've been on the receiving end. And it's not fun. So that kind of answers that question. Now, to go to the point about Bible curriculum. I have received questions like this before in various forms. Why don't you have any reviews of Bible curriculum? You are a Christian family, but you don't use X curriculum. You're a Christian family, but you use that curriculum. Various things like that. And here's how I kind of view that. I'd really like to interweave our faith into our days, into our homeschool curriculum on my own. Going back to my point about my faith doesn't look like some others. I am in a mainline denomination. We're at United Methodist Church currently. And more typical, I hate to say that because I don't want to label anyone, but evangelical tends to be the more predominant label in my experience. The places we've lived, if you don't know, we're a military family, and so we've lived a lot of places. And that's been my experience. And so we are not evangelical. And most curriculum tends to fall more into an evangelical view, political view, or otherwise. And And that's not us. We are not 7-day young earth people. I don't believe that the United States had some providential destiny to it, etc. But that doesn't mean that our faith isn't interwoven throughout our science, throughout our history. Right now, or if you're wondering where I am, this is not my house. Obviously, I'm now on vacation, and I am sitting out looking out we're in Asheville, North Carolina right now, right off the Blue Ridge Parkway. I'm looking at the mountains over this camera, and I can't help but look and think about how the creation. And so we talk about that when we're out hiking or just outside. And we talk about it when we study great scientists like Galileo and how his faith was interwoven into it, and how church history has had its connection with faith throughout times and how it's varied. And when we look at the great artists and the great musicians, and we talk about how joyous it is, and using our talents for not just for ourselves, but the pleasure we can bring to others by using and embracing the talents we have and those special skills that are unique to us. And the way our perspectives on all sorts of topics can be used to bless others and to encourage others, and what we've been given is uniquely ours, and the responsibility that carries. We talk about it through history and how faith leads people to do certain things, whether it's a Christian faith or otherwise, how it, whether it's something more destructive like the Crusades or something that brings more positive to the world like civil rights era. We talk about faith through all sorts of things, and we interweave it throughout our day. And so for me, setting aside the fact that I've not really found any Christian curriculum that is accurately reflects our Bible-based beliefs, I also just love to interweave it throughout on our own and hear what my kids have to say and what they bring up on their own. Now, do we use any Bible curriculum? Well, I wouldn't be opposed to it. If I found something that reflected us, I'd be willing to do it, whether it's a Bible curriculum itself or a science one that's based faith, history, whatever. I'm not opposed to it. I just never found anything that would work for us. Now, when my kids were younger, we did use some Bible curriculum. Grapevines, stick figuring through history, I think is what it's called. And it was a great way to introduce the kids to kind of order of events type of thing and basic stories. It worked well for us. But as my kids got older and they knew those stories, it wasn't such a big thing. My kids have been in the Awana program since they were tiny preschoolers. They each had started by the time they were 3. So, we have all sorts of, we would do their Awana work during our day. We have tried different Bible curriculums here and there as well. We did really like the stuff from, I forget the name of it now, Peter Enns. It was through the faith branch of the Well-Trained Mind Academy, Olive Branch Press, I think is what it was called, that subsidiary. But I forget what the name of it, Telling God's Story, that's the name of it. And we really liked those, but we got to a point where we were ready for the next level and it wasn't produced yet, and we never went back to it. I found something that was Christian and met our goals and all of that. I'm not opposed to it. I'm just not going to seek that out. As a Christian label on a curriculum isn't going to be something that I'll seek out before I seek out something that meets our goals. If you've been with me anytime, I hope you know that I really don't mean to be divisive or come off judgmental or anything. However people want to approach their homeschool. I mean, that's part of my tagline is empowering moms to have the homeschool uniquely theirs. What works for our homeschool is not going to be what works for you. And I say that all the time. And it's something I truly believe. And so I don't want any wrong idea. And if you're new here and this is your first video, well, welcome. Again, I'm not usually this controversial. I try not to go into controversial topics. But I did think it was a great question and one that I'm ready now to address. And I haven't been before now. So that's kind of my answer to it. Questions or such, I'm happy to answer. Leave them down below, and I'll see you over in the next video.